Yeah, so what's going on, guys? So, just kind of, I had a good Christmas, all in all, but there are things that, you know, like, like for millennial, just like, think some things just don't seem to really jive, like having to, like, roll with the punches and fight back all the doubt, but, like, but I know some things are really happening, and it's going to, and, like the veil's been torn, the genie's out of the bottle, and all that, You guys mean by that, but it's, you know, they're already starting, like, now they're saying that they're gonna try and find a new way to make us all stay at home, just in the name of, like, trying to save the planet or whatever. Like, how can anyone, how can that be possible? But the only solution to do it is just to take out part of that percentage of the human race that just, like, kill off 1/3 of all people on this planet. Like, that, and it's also being said that, like, even across social media, that, the borders are going to be redrawn on in North America, Alberta, the Yukon, parts of BC, then Saskatchewan, Manitoba, even Quebec, and parts of a part of Newfoundland and Labrador will be handed over to the U.S. Like, and in BC, like the Premier has signed the United Nations in his declaration for the rights of Indigenous people to hand over all the land throughout different cities and all that. Even the Cowichan First Nations, just, like, people are now, it's like they're trying to force these people to go into the big cities, and pretty soon these cities will become prisons. Like, you won't even be able to work without any reason. Like, and if you work from home, you won't be able to leave. You won't even leave the house. And it's happening across the world, and it's just not. But you know what? This world's gonna. But I believe the judgment's gonna come. The digital ID is gonna be implemented across the world, and when I think about it, like, connecting the dots, like if any of us have ever looked up, dug in back to the Old Testament and looked up in Genesis 49, you would actually come to realize that the real threat is from within Israel, the 13th tribe that was not put in and included into God's records. The tribe of Dan, known as the Serpent. World Wide Web 666, man, serpent, Lucifer. So it all comes together. And I guess number 7 is the holy number, as they say it. And 6 just falls short of perfection. The veil's been torn, and now the light's gonna come, because, like, even early this morning I was sure we were gonna enter 3 days of darkness, and like, now currently our Prime Minister is trying to bankrupt our country so that it can be handed over to China or even the World Economic Forum. Their plan is to extend their control through digital information flow and a programmable money that where you spend so much, and like you won't even have any freedom. And I mean, some of us are not meant to have it. We were just irresponsible, and but one thing for sure is that, you know, like, and someone even had a conspiracy with LED means that they're actually using more power than what we think they do, because they're blinking so much than what we think they do. And I mean sure they last longer, but yeah, like, but people get, but I don't know what's worse though. Yeah, having to replace incandescent bulbs or almost so frequently, or an LED. You know, like, it's just, well, everything's just gone out of control, and you know it. But you know, the more I try to ignore it, the more it seems to get louder and louder when it screams at me. You know. Yeah, and in Alberta, the persons with developmental disabilities is being dissolved, and all people with disabilities are going to be put into the umbrella of Alberta Health and Continuing Care. And there's been one things I've been thinking of wanting to say, thinking to myself, like, why I wanted to leave Red Deer in the first place. Well, the big thing is, like a lot of people with disabilities are so negative, and they're trying to get me into the Cosmos, and you know, people there are just like trying to compete with each other, they put each other down. They just, yeah, there's the envy, and yeah, there's just one individual where she just wants a wedding ring and family, but she doesn't realize what she's putting herself into. And you know what? Well, why would they? What? And there's another one, like Madison. Just, she has a learning disability and she has spending problems, and much like I do. And you know, and then there's people. You know, I think the reason why and my girlfriend Kelly just moved away just was because, you know, well, not just because as her proprietor is moving to Spruce Grove to be closer to her daughter, but it's also good for her. It was also good for both of them, because the individuals with disabilities in Red Deer are just so, there's always complaining, comparing, criticizing, and all that, like, competition, and it's really what breeds envy, is what I've learned. You know, it's like they try to put each other down or whatever, or do one-ups with one another. Like, and so many people they just take their religion too seriously. They lose sight of the whole ordeal of the ideals of what God intended us to be. And I found out my cousin got beat up because he just didn't keep his nose shut, because he inherited it. It's like he's got his mother's, you know, like his mother's attitude of like this and that, and like sometimes and now we're thinking, like, he's got brain damage, and he's deaf in 1 year now. Like, yeah, it's like he's becoming a Karen. Yeah, like, I don't know what to think, and we can't trust anyone in this world. It's like, I don't think. But I mean, me myself, I just be. I mean, I just go into life, be living in a living hell, but just to get up to where the finish line goes, which is the heavenly world, the heavenly kingdom. My reverence just kind of, I think I've always been different from all the others, and so I've been bullied and ostracized, and it really, I was very shy. I'm still very shy and very wary of strangers. And when it comes to seeing a young woman, it's hard for me to know if it's a teenager or not. But hopefully I might find someone, because one day, yeah, but in many ways I'm starting. There's ways I'm wanting to. There will be ways I'm saying that I'll be happy when I'm out of Red Deer, because it's just gotten so bad, and and the government and the city government's not gonna do it. It's not even gonna do a thing about it. And now even Saskatchewan's gonna come up with their own pension plan, and because it's like, I think the dominoes have already started to fall. The provinces are coming up with their own pension plans, and the western provinces, and I imagine the Yukon Territory is gonna come up with its own, and yeah, and a little bit. Well, Quebec already has their own. Parts of BC are now wanting to get out. But I mean, the money is actually good. Is what I would actually need. But I need to be very productive. Otherwise, I just get so bored and I don't know what to do. But I need to be productive at all times, and but when I need my quiet time, there's nothing. I can't even go anywhere to be quiet. To keep to. If I want some quiet time, I can't. I'm so sensitive. Because I have a roommate that just natters to himself all the time. And there's no silence. There's no space. There's no stillness, and I'm not supposed to do it at all. Then again, I'm not surprised. But everyone's got their own opinions and all that. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today, and I just wanted to say that. Pray to God that hopefully I can leave this world and see the light, and not have to worry about anything anymore. Anyways, that's all I have to say. So I'll catch you later.